You know that feeling when you open a blank document at 12 a.m. and suddenly 3 hours disappear? When the world goes quiet and it's just you and the words? Yeah, me too. I'm Arilia Winn, and I wrote for years before anyone knew my name. And I'm not talking about writing in my journal or dabbling on the weekends. I mean really writing, finishing manuscripts, designing covers at my kitchen table, uploading books to Amazon that maybe 7 people would read, and 5 of them were family. But here's the thing, nobody tells you about being a self-publishing author. The views don't matter when you're drowning without the work. Someone once said, creators must create. And if you're listening to this right now, you already know what I mean. Let me take you back. Before Winn Publications, before the author platform, before any of this looked like anything, I was just a woman with stories locked inside her chest and a Word document that became my therapist. I had 2 lanes, you see, 2 types of writing that kept me alive, and I mean that literally. The first lane was creative, fiction, poetry, children's books, stories where I could build worlds that made sense when mine didn't, where I controlled the ending, where love won and the heroine always found her strength. When I wasn't creating, I got physically sick, migraines, exhaustion, this heaviness that sat on my chest like a stone. My wellness was held hostage by my own unused imagination. The second lane was impact, nonfiction, self-help, books that helped people heal the way I was trying to heal myself. Writing became my processing tool, my therapy, my way of making sense of the chaos. And both lanes, they saved me, not in some dramatic movie moment kind of way, but in the quiet, everyday way that matters most. They gave me better days. But let's be honest about what those early years looked like. I'd publish a book, and the silence was deafening. No reviews, no sales, no DMs from readers saying, "This changed my life." Just me, refreshing my KDP dashboard like it was going to magically transform overnight. I'd see other authors with their book launches, their street teams, their tens of thousands of followers. And I'd look at my own page, 17 followers, 12 of them bots, and think, am I doing this wrong? Maybe you've been there too. You write the book, edit it until your eyes blur, design the cover, write the description, hit publish, and then crickets. It was lonely. But here's what I learned in that silence. I wasn't writing for the applause. I was writing because not writing felt like suffocation. Somewhere around book number 8 or 9, honestly, I lost count. Something shifted, not externally. The numbers were still small, the audience was still quiet. But I changed. I stopped writing to be discovered and started writing to stay whole. I published a romance novella that maybe 40 people read, but writing it pulled me out of one of the darkest seasons of my life. I released a self-help guide that sold 6 copies in the first month, but one woman emailed me and said, "Chapter 3 made me feel less alone." 6 copies, 1 email, and that was enough. Because the truth is, healing isn't always loud. Growth doesn't always come with confetti and a book deal. Sometimes it's just you and the page doing the work nobody sees, building the foundation that will one day hold everything else. I eventually founded Winn Publications, built a platform, started reaching more people. But none of that would exist if I hadn't spent years writing when nobody was watching. If you're listening to this and you're in that season right now, the invisible season, the why am I even doing this season, I need you to hear me. Your work matters before it's seen. You're not writing for the algorithm. You're not writing for the bestseller list. You're not even writing for the readers yet, though they'll come. You're writing because you're a creator and creators must create. Not as some poetic idea, but as a survival mechanism. When you don't create, something inside you withers. Your mental health suffers. Your body keeps the score. You feel it in your bones. That restlessness, that ache, that sense that you're not living at full capacity. That's not weakness. That's your design. And the world needs what only you can create. So yeah, I wrote for years before anyone knew my name. And honestly, those were some of the most important years of my life, not because of what I accomplished, but because of who I became in the process. I learned discipline. I learned resilience. I learned that my value as a creator isn't tied to my visibility. I learned to write for healing, to write for clarity, to write for better days. And if you're out there writing in the dark right now, wondering if it'll ever matter, it already does. Keep going, keep creating, keep publishing those books that only 7 people will read. Because one day you'll look back and realize those were the books that built you. I'm Arilia Winn, founder of Winn Publications. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.